Trends for 2012 globally. This is something put out by Gartner earlier this year. This is, a lot of phones right now have these capabilities, but they're really underutilized. Most of what people use on their cell phones, they have games, they have a few efficiencies like email or Twitter or social networking or whatnot, and they have voice. In terms of in terms of where the opportunities for innovation are going forward, these are basically what we're looking at. So money transfer is a really big piece. And this doesn't necessarily look at being able to pay for something with your phone, although that's really important with mobile payment. This looks at me being able to send you 50 bucks. This looks at me being able to send my telco 80 bucks for my bill or whatever it is. This looks at being able to transfer money from one account to another. And this, along with mobile payment, will help to transform the financial industry and probably what we'll see happening over the next 5 years in terms of revisioning how we treat money in terms of our accounts and whatnot. One of the big failings of mobile payments and transfer right now is that you have to open up a separate account. So there's a number of banks that have, they have pilots that they've run. RBC had, I think, Mobex for a little while. There's Endstream's model as well. The problem is that I have a regular bank account. You all have regular bank accounts. You all have regular credit cards. If I want to use the service, I have to open up a separate account. I have to transfer money from my normal account into my separate account. There's a number of layers of security that go along with accessing that separate account and also sending it to somebody else. I can't send it to someone with a normal bank account. I have to send it to somebody else with an Endstream or a Mobex account. Who has time for this? It's a really great sort of foray into building out a prototype, but if you have 6 extra steps between you actually receiving money or you actually sending money for a fee.
Just write a check.
Exactly, write a check.
Exactly.
Or an email money transfer, or something else that has been developed along the payments industry that is way simpler, that's integrated with the existing service offerings. What you'll see coming up over the next couple of years is more banks and more credit card companies launching services that access your funds. There are security issues, of course, but there are security issues with having a credit card. There are security issues with doing any kind of online banking or any type of sort of payment mechanism, going to a bank machine. There's security risks that are involved in all of those things, and we'll see new measures that come out to protect consumers. Location-based services. So right now, there's a lot of buzz in terms of social networking for things like Foursquare and Gowalla and other types of location-based services, which aren't really services so much as being able to shout out, hey, I'm here. I had a great burrito at this particular place. Come and join me and hang out or whatever. They're very socially oriented. They're very much around engagement. They're not necessarily around advertising or around being able to deliver really great content based on the place that you're in. You see some of this happening, for example, with Google Maps, where you go onto a Google Maps site on your normal computer. Suddenly you add layers, you have satellite, you have terrain, you have Wikipedia articles based on the geolocation of where things are, you have photos that people are taken via Flickr or Panoramia, you have other integrated services that come into the location. This doesn't necessarily happen quite as well on your mobile phone. It hopefully will in the next couple of years. Mobile search. So this is not only searching for things via a web browser, this is also taking into consideration context. And it's tied into location-based services as well. So I'm here in Thunder Bay. Where do I go for dinner? Was there a Yelp or another recommendation service that I can use that helps me find out, what it is that I want to go and have a bite to eat? Is there a place where I can go and hike? Is there a place where I can go and listen to music? Where do I go for, pharmacy, groceries, etc., etc.? Search suddenly takes on a new sort of understanding where it's not just you searching for something mediated by a screen and then going out. You're in the space. So what are the services that are going to be available that will help you in the moment of need? Mobile browsing as well is another big sort of trend coming up. Chrome is going to be launching a mobile offering, as well Mozilla has launched its beta platform called Fennec, which is Mozilla is an open source browser that's available across platforms. They now have a mobile offering, and they'll be hopefully developing a mobile browser that you'll be able to use. Everybody has a proprietary browser, good or bad. Mobile health monitoring. Really, really, really important and huge space for innovation. This is taking things such as the Nike Plus that takes into consideration your location, how much you're running, etc., to things like monitoring your glucose, monitoring your heart rate, monitoring your diet, linking that into a cloud-based service that helps you manage any potential problems or symptoms or diseases that you would have. Mobile payment we talked about a little bit, and you see some things that are happening now. There are pilots that are launched where you can wave your phone at a little reader and it suddenly allows you to, pay for your donut or your meal or whatnot. But to see this happening on a regular basis with almost all interactions, I can't wait. It's very, very exciting. But a lot of it relies on things like near-field communications. Now, is anybody here familiar with NFC or near-field communications? So have you seen pilots where, pilot projects that have been launched where you'll go to Tim Hortons, for example, and it'll have something called PayWave? PayPass? Yeah, that's a near-field communication. So what that is basically there's a chip in your phone, and there's a chip in your card, and there's a chip or a chip reader rather, in the PayPass device. These things work up to about 12 to 16 inches in terms of being able to read, very similar to RFID and the little RFID tags that you have when if they don't scan it properly at the store when you walk out and the readers go off, etc. Taking this and putting it into a cell phone. Suddenly you have access in terms of security, in terms of mobile payments, etc. And it's something that we will hopefully see more of. Visa had a really great phone a couple of years ago that they launched at CTS in Vegas. I think it was 08, which was essentially the Visa PayWave. You swipe your phone, suddenly you have an account, and that's linked up to your Visa account. It's a prepaid thing, and you're able to pay for various types of services or products. Mobile advertising as well. AdMob was just purchased by Google a couple of months ago. So mobile advertising, I know that now when you go and you have games that are freemium games, for example, part of the revenue stream comes from advertising. Almost every app that you open up has a little ad banner somewhere on it. You're going to see more and more of this, not only within the application itself, but also location-based services that are going to be tagged into, okay, you're in Thunder Bay, you want to go for dinner, who's sponsoring the ads for the local restaurants, and how does it come to be a contextual moment of need and use. Also, mobile instant messaging. There's not really a whole lot of services other than Google and sort of the basics that offer mobile IM, but if BBM is a really, really strong reason why people stick with their Blackberries. And it's not an instant messaging service, but it's pretty close. The more that we can see that bypasses traditional SMS services from you being able to talk to you in really, short bursts, or you being able to talk to each other, the better. I don't want to spend 15 or 25 cents every time I want to tell you to go and get milk, coming home from the store or whatnot, or coming home from work. And as well, mobile music. So this is where you have iTunes and other sort of content ownership models that are transferred onto the phone where the device either lives natively, or you have things like Spotify, Last.fm, Pandora, etc., where you can stream in, you can purchase the accounts. Part of the challenge of living in Canada is that most of the licensing comes 2 years after the service will launch in the US, for example, not available in your country. This will change.